What's up, man?
What's going on, Jeremy?
How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Excited to talk to you about this new record and look ahead a little bit. Dude, I'm always fascinated in this day and age how records are made. It used to be you'd hunker down in a studio for a long time and then, crank out an album over 3 months. And then COVID came along and then everyone was recording from home. So I'm kind of curious how you made this one. I know that there was some time spent in Arkansas recording the new album, but kind of walk me through that process.
Yeah, so basically our last record came out in 2022. And ever since then, whenever we're on a break from tour, a couple of us would go out to LA just to get in some writers' rooms and write with some other people, just because I've been talking to some other bands that had been doing that, and I was like, I don't want to write a song with somebody else, and they're like, it's not like you think, man. You're writing the song, they're just kind of acting like a producer really early on in the process. So we did a bunch of those sessions and um, took all those out to an Airbnb in Arkansas and kind of put it together into a whole record.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've talked to you and Mike over the past couple years since Color Decay and on the different tours and stuff. And you're always like, yeah, we're doing some recording here in LA, doing some writing here in LA. So kind of go write in LA and then go to record it in Arkansas.
Yeah, we just picked Arkansas because we all have studios in our houses, but like if you try and make a record in your house, it's like your wife or husband or whatever is going to be like, "Oh, should we do this tonight?" and everything. It's hard to be like focused. So we
Right.
just all went away to a place and got it done. It was really fun though. I don't think I've ever been closer to Mike specifically just going through this process together. It was really fun.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of more like the old school way, hunkering down and kind of knocking it out. And a phenomenal album, man. There's so much to dig into with the album, so many great songs. And, I almost feel like you were the singer guitarist with Mike leading, but I almost kind of feel like you're leading the vocals on this album compared to Mike in albums past.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. The songs just started turning out that way. I don't know, like a lot of you'll put a song out and you'll see all the feedback and stuff. And I think people read like way more into stuff than we do. We're basically, this is our like 13th release, ninth like full length album. And so every time you're kind of just going in and being like, well, what kind of record am I going to make and how are we going to do it? And the songs just kind of seem to write themselves. You're kind of just pulling them down, and it just seemed like a lot of the stuff that we wanted to write right now fell into, oh, we need a lot more singing than screaming on it. So,
Well, I'm glad it's not all clean singing. I mean, we still got all out on there for kind of like that
yeah,
old school jam.
yeah. There's another track that's only on the physical as well. That's pretty heavy too. So.
Got to leave us a little bit something in there for the old school fans.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the singles have been great so far. The one that I think I get stuck in my head the most might be "So Low," and it's funny, how it's written, but it also got me thinking about the word solo,
Mm.
and it kind of ties into it as well because you tend to feel so low, and it's all self-inflicted rather than it actually being something from the outside world.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's kind of like the whole that song in particular, I think kind of sums up the whole record and the theme of it, which is basically just you set these milestones for yourself and you're like, if I just reach them, whether it's your job or whatever it is, like all of my traumas and my issues and stuff will be healed. And then you get there and you're like, oh, that didn't work. So it's just coming to terms with that and trying to figure out what does.
Yeah, it's like people that win the lottery and then they end up blowing it all in a year and they're still miserable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Speaking of vocals, the one that kind of caught my ear, and everybody knows there's one random vocal in there, like repeating the line, "You get what you give." It sounds like some dude off the street doing it, but I imagine another band member. It wasn't you or Mike, I don't think.
I think it is me and Mike kind of like blended together. We were just writing that song in a studio, and I don't know whether it was me or John, our producer and keyboard player, that was like, what if you just sing it down the hallway? Because like they used to do that stuff all the time, and I loved it. So it's kind of like a Blink-182 trick or something like that. So,
That's kind of cool. I thought like, oh, I wonder if they just grabbed somebody off the street and did that, but it's actually the two of you doing that.
hey, buddy, come in here.
Yeah. Yell this line real quick. And that song too is also kind of mentioned as a chemical part too.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe. The theme of that song is basically um you're at a party, or let's say you're at one of these Danny Winterfest and you're at the backstage bar and you've had a couple too many, and you kind of just start realizing like, oh my God, everyone knows I'm so drunk, I'm acting like an idiot, and like just that anxiety of being like, there's no way out of this situation. This is my reputation now. So that it kind of just, I've been there a lot.
Dude, I gotta say though, I think my favorite tune on the whole album, and it's almost the musical hook that gets me in it. When You're Gone,
Yes.
love that
We
song.
we wrote that song maybe, I don't know, like a year ago, but basically my wife now, she was my fiance at the time, had been on tour for a long time, and we had been on tour, and um I had just been like texting her like everything's fine, everything's gonna be okay, because we're sad that we're not around each other, and so I kind of just wrote that song, kind of like a love song, like for her, of like everything will be okay, and then it took a dark turn a little bit, but that was the intention.
Like most Prada songs do.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of your wife and wanted to talk a little bit about that, is that her on like the voicemails? That's her, right?
Yeah, that's a real voice memo that she had sent me. That we knew, like we had made the intro to the album already, and we wanted to have a middle interlude piece that kind of flipped into the back half. And I was like, oh my God, like I have this voice memo that she had sent me. So yeah, it was a nice little Easter egg.
Those voice memos are kind of weird because they do kind of book in the album. It's kind of like a tale of two halves. The second one that kicks in after When You're Gone almost has like a dance beat behind it, and I feel like it kind of almost leads you into the back half of the record where it's more keyboard driven than it is guitar driven.
Totally. Yeah, that's sort of an ode to a Depeche Mode kind of thing. I'm such a big like goth head, and Nine Inch Nails, Depeche Mode, Ministry, all that stuff. And so we kind of wanted to just, there's like two stories. Like the beginning of the record is basically like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I still feeling this way? Like, my life is phenomenal and I'm so messed up. And the back half is like spiral all the way to the bottom, and then just kind of find, like, complacency is the wrong word, but like try and be content, like mindfulness, I guess. Try and accept what you have, and like maybe this is the best that it gets, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the middle.
No, absolutely not.
And speaking of Emma, and congratulations on the recent
Thank you.
nuptials. What was that wedding like, man? Was it full on like rock star wedding, or was it pretty tame and like family and everything?
It was pretty wild, but it was beautiful. Emma has basically like planned it for the last year. And we got married outside of Portland in the Gorge in Washington, right across from Hood River, Oregon, and it was just beautiful, outdoors. And this reception was in this big barn, and like all of our friends were there, and they just happened to be like all metalcore people because of what we do. So we had a ton of people from a different bunch of different bands and around the industry and stuff. That it was really sweet.
That was my next question. Like, did you have a DJ or did you have a band and then a big jam session breakout?
We had no band. We don't want any more live music. We had a DJ. It was really fun. Yeah, he was awesome.
But I'm sure all the musicians are out there bumping him, like, play this song, play that
Oh,
song.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm sure you even handed in a list of songs. What was like the first dance song for you guys?
We danced to a song by the 1975, and then we did a last dance to, maybe it's like Casey Musgraves or something. Yeah, it was like sappy and romantic.
As it should be, as it should be.
Yeah.
And we should give a shout out to her new record. I mean, Flesh Stays Together, the new Dying Wish record, amazing.
Yeah, anybody that's mad that my record is not as heavy as you want it to be, you can just go listen to her record. It is sufficiently heavy.
You know, her that record is really kind of cool. I feel like it's super heavy at parts and super melodic and a lot in between. Like I feel like they found a kind of a middle ground on that record.
Yeah, they're definitely hitting their stride. Like they're untouchable at this point. It's awesome. I'm like a fan first, no bias.
Looking forward to their tour. They're going to go out on a run here and come through SoCal in December.
I know. I wish I was going to be there. We're going to be with Ice Nine Kills on this European tour, basically day for day with that. So they're having their big Dying Wish Miss festival at the end of that, and we're playing Wembley Arena the same day. So it's
Oh
like,
wow.
man.
Yeah, dude, that's the crazy thing with you guys having an album coming out. I figured we would be getting a new skateboard deck from House of Blues at Anaheim, but no.
We're
No tour.
cooking as we speak. We're putting things together. Unfortunately, our whole schedule's filled the rest of the year, but we were like, the record comes out in November, so there's not much time for people to learn it before we're coming back. I'll just say that. We'll be back in SoCal very soon.
Okay, next year, obviously, but
Yeah, yeah.
we shouldn't have to wait for a whole year for the record and the tour.
No, absolutely not. No.
And we probably can't talk about it, but I certainly love the last run that you did with Silent Planet, and then the metalcore dropouts before. It was gonna be metalcore dropouts like three, maybe, or moving in a
No,
different direction.
yeah, I want to try something new. I feel like I've beat that into the head until I do like a cruise or something like Metalcore Dropouts cruise. But um, yeah, we have something very dope. We have some really, really sick bands that'll be coming. I shouldn't even be talking about this, but it's fine.
Summer, fall. Can we say that?
Earlier than that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're not gonna have to wait too long.
No, not at all. It'll be worth the wait.
And I'm kind of curious, man. I started with the joke about the skateboard decks. Do you have a favorite House of Blues Anaheim show or tour that you've done? How many decks do you have now? Four or five?
I have three. I'm looking at them right now. They're like above our guest bathroom. But I think I've done maybe six or seven at this point. Zombie was amazing just because metalcore in general and our band in particular had kind of gone through a bit of a slump. And that tour was really the beginning of the resurgence of kind of like, oh, wow, we could really do this for another 2 decades. And just feeling that feeling of like selling out a venue that big again, it just felt incredible. So that's a really special memory to me.
You know, speaking of the zombie EPs, I mean, I hope that wasn't the end of the heavy end of Prada. I mean, I hope that wasn't like, all right, let's get that all out now. We're done
No,
with it.
no, man. No, 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 no. I didn't forget how to write breakdowns.
There could potentially be another like all out kind of heavy Prada album next time around, depending on what you guys.
Maybe something black metal. I don't know, man. We were talking about doing like a super evil death metal EP at some point, and then we kind of just like felt like going in this direction. But I would say never. Like, especially the more people say I can't do something, it makes me want to do it so bad. I'm so stubborn.
I totally get that. And you know, dude, that second half of the new record, it's almost like synthwave, like almost kind of 80s vibe, which is another gear that I had never heard before with the band.
Yeah, we're kind of just like our last album, Color Decay. We basically were like, if no one likes this record, like we're just gonna call it. We'll just be a legacy band forever. But like we just had different kind of songs we wanted to write and put out there. And that's kind of been the whole history of our band for the last 20 years was basically what doesn't exist, how can we do something in a different way? And that just took off like a rocket. So we're like, let's just push the boundaries even further. And honestly, like the airplay, the streaming, everything is like better than it's ever been. So I'm just gonna keep on riding it.
Dude, I appreciate all the time. Last thing I wanted to hit you with, man, we're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica. We've talked Metallica in the past. I know you're a big Ride the Lightning fan, but the thing that's been on my mind is next year. I know we're a little bit early, but next year is going to be the 35th anniversary of Metallica's Black album, the self-titled record.
Oh yeah.
And
Um,
it kind of
Y-
got me
y-
to thinking that, that so much was made of that record because they were so heavy and thrashy before that, and then that was kind of a change for them. Is that arc is that kind of the arc for every band? Does every band kind of go through that phase where they come out, they explode on the world with all the anger and venom and piss and vinegar, and then they start to realize, like, well, how can we write better songs and gain a bigger audience?
I think part of it is youth, and you're just so angry when you're young, and you like feel like I'm starting to see. I go to a lot of these hardcore festivals and stuff, and there's like young kids and young bands starting again. Like that had kind of stopped for maybe 15 years. It felt like kids in high school did not want to start a band, and now they all do again, and they're all pissed and they all are angry about everything, and like we need that. And then I feel like, once you have a mortgage and stuff, it's like you're like, well, maybe I have other things I want. I think you just get bored. I love the Black Album for what it's worth. I love Ride the Lightning, but I love the Black Album.
Yeah, I mean, 30 million sold too. I mean, certainly a lot of people like that record.
Yeah, it's good.
I almost kind of feel like you're going through that phase with your band at this point in time.
If I'm going through a Metallica phase, that would be phenomenal.
I mean, like the Black Album phase, from that,
Yeah.
looking at the more melodic and kind of trying to capture the largest audience possible.
Yeah, I think not necessarily intentionally, but I think it just kind of comes with it. If you write different kinds of songs, different people come in, like, Enter Sandman, I played that at my high school talent show,
Right.
far after it had come out. But um, that was kind of I don't think that was my intro to Metallica, but I definitely was like, yo, this is there. I mean, some of the songs of that record are some of the best ever. Like, Nothing Else Matters. That song's insane. So,
Yeah, I mean, you would never expect the band that put out Fight Fire with Fire to write like Nothing Else Matters.
yeah, I just think, okay, this is going to sound weird, but I feel like artists and creatives don't really make something out of nothing. They're more pulling stuff from this like ether they have access to. And I feel like the longer you do it, the more access you have to this energy. And so weird stuff, different stuff starts coming out than when you started, and you only have a really narrow bandwidth. But that's just my bizarre
No, totally,
weird
totally makes sense.
philosophy.
Totally makes sense. Just to put a button on it, is there a song we can play for you on Mandatory Metallica? What song comes to mind for Metallica?
Oh, from the Black Album?
Any album, really.
Wherever I May Roam. I love that song.
That's a banger. One of those live staples for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so hard to pick from that record, but that's a great song. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Another killer album, and can't wait for that tour next year.
I appreciate it, bro. Let's hang.
For sure. Hopefully, you'll see you at House of Blues Anaheim again.
Yes, absolutely. We will be back there.
Beautiful, man. Safe travels in the meantime. Bye
All
bye.
right, thank you, man. See ya.